everyone, and welcome back to the Breakdown Tech. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the best builds you can get for $1,000 when it comes to building a PC. Now sure, there might be some different things you would change in this system to get maybe a better graphics card or switch some things around to get more RAM, but overall this is a great system that gives you tons of longevity and tons of room to upgrade in the future. You can find links to all of these parts on Amazon in the description below, and if you do go and buy anything on Amazon through any of those links, it does support the channel and it really means the world to me. Also, before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video for more incredible build guides like this every single week. We post tech videos, we post build guides, we post awesome, what is like educational almost kind of videos. We post them every single day of the week, so be sure to subscribe. Nevertheless, let's get on into it. So for our processor, I'm going with an Intel i7-8700K. This is a 6-core processor and it's base clocked at 3.7 gigahertz, but it's overclockable, and getting 4.5 gigahertz out of this thing with this build should not be a problem once we overclock it. The reason I wanted to go with this CPU is because it's top of the line, and as we all know, graphics card prices are really high, and we are going to be using a new graphics card in this system, but it is worth noting that the processor is going to allow for upgrades, whether it's adding in more RAM or whether it's upgrading your graphics card to say a brand new 1080 Ti in the future. You can do that and your processor will be able to handle it and perform well. My goal for this system is for you to be able to use this and upgrade it over the next 4 to 6 years and continue to use this system. And the way to do that is go with one of the best processors out there right now, and that's going to be this 6-core 8700K i7. Now, I mentioned overclocking, and for that we're going to need a CPU cooler. So we're going with something that's kind of tried and true as a budget option. That is the Cooler Mastered Hyper T2 CPU cooler. That's going to give you enough of a cooling option to be able to overclock this system and get as much as you can out of the CPU without breaking the bank when it comes to price. There's no reason to spend a ton of money on a CPU cooler. Literally all it is some metal and heat pipes. So a budget option like this one from Cooler Master, a reputable brand, is great. The motherboard itself is something we kind of had to be picky about. It had to support the Caviar processors, and on top of that I wanted it to have tons of upgradability, right? The ability to add in more graphics cards in the future and things like that if you wanted to do it. So we're going with an MSI Z370 Gaming Plus motherboard. This entire build, by the way, is going to kind of have a red theme, and this motherboard is red, so that's absolutely perfect. This motherboard will let you upgrade up to 64 gigabytes of RAM in the future, in addition to allowing you to add in more graphics cards through its PCIe slots, so you've got tons of options. So if you wanted to SLI a system in the future, this system could do it. Now speaking of RAM, while the motherboard supports 64 gigabytes, this is at the end of the day just a $1,000 build, so we can't go crazy when RAM prices are up quite a bit. So we're going with the G.SKILL Aegis 16 gigabyte kit. So it's two 8 gigabyte stick for 16 gigabytes total for another $150, so $300 total in RAM, which is pretty crazy. You could upgrade to 32 gigabytes in this system, and obviously if you wanted to go 64 gigabytes, you would have to get 4 16 gigabyte sticks, but overall there are tons of upgrade options. Right now you can start off with 16, then add in 32, and then 4 years from now upgrade to 64 gigabytes of RAM with this system. Again, I wanted it to have tons of longevity, guys, and that's the goal here. But we're starting out with a very reputable brand, G.SKILL, and their Aegis series RAM, and again that is a 2 8 gigabyte stick DDR4 kit for 16 gigabytes of RAM total. Now in terms of storage, I think when you're spending $1,000 on a build, you should have an SSD and an HDD. Now you're not going to have a huge SSD, it's just going to be probably for your operating system and maybe some of your important files that you need to access quickly, and because of that we're going with the Kingston 120 gigabyte A400 series SSD. This SSD is less than $45 and allows us to put an SSD in there that lets you put your OS on it, boot up Windows quickly, and do all that stuff while hosting all of your programs and your important files and all that stuff on the HDD, as well as all of your games on the HDD in order to keep them off of that 120 gigabyte SSD. So I keep talking about an HDD. Which one are we going with? Well, we're going with a tried and true brand, Western Digital, and their 1 terabyte Caviar Blue series. I swear by Caviar Blues, I've never had any issues out of them, and they're great HDDs that I think are the best out there right now for putting in just an everyday gaming PC build. Now here we go. I'm going to talk about what I think everyone wants to know with these build guides, and that is, what kind of GPU are you putting in this thing? I said that I was going to be putting a new graphics card in this system. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm not going to be using a 1080 Ti. In this system, I'm recommending an MSI 4GB 1050 Ti. It's not the top of the line, it's not the newest, but it's got 4GB of VRAM, and it's on Pascal, meaning you're going to be able to get those higher speeds seen by Pascal. With that being said, it's still going to cost you $250, and for $100 more, you could get a 980 Ti. Sure, it's on the older architecture, but it's going to give you 6GB of VRAM and an even faster CPU because it's the last in the 900 series model line. So for my brand new graphics card option, I'm recommending the 1050 Ti. They're pretty much in stock everywhere from what I can see, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's going to be pretty competent in playing games and being able to edit video for a few years here, so it's a great graphics card to get for this system. However, you could get a 980 Ti for $350 and get a little bit more longevity out of this system, but you're going to have to buy that used on eBay. I will link both the MSI 1050 Ti brand new down below, as well as the 980 Ti on eBay down below. So you've got graphics cards options, either a 980 Ti used or a 1050 Ti brand new. The 1050 Ti is going to be the cheaper option. Whatever you want to go with, you can decide. Both are going to serve you pretty well in this build. Now that's the main hardware out of the way, but we're not done yet. We still need a good case, and for that we're going with the Corsair 200R. That's actually a case that I currently have and use at the office in my test build system. It's got plenty of room, it's easy to use, easy to open up, easy to take apart, all of that stuff. Cable management with a full modular power supply is not an issue, so you've got tons and tons and tons of room in this case to be able to do whatever you want with it, and again, expand over time. The definition of this build to last you for years and years and years to come. Now, as far as our power supply goes, we're going with the Corsair CXM 450 watt semi-modular power supply. Now, I just said in this case with a full modular power supply, it's very, very easy to build. Well, the thing is, I built in this case with a non-modular power supply. It has all the cables coming out of it, and I was able to do it pretty well, but there were a few extra cables for hard drives and graphics cards and things like that that I didn't need and didn't use. Well, with the semi-modular power supply, you're getting your essentials, but you're able to add in those ones that you need as you need them, and it keeps the case clear. It's also a great budget option for this system, and that's why I ended up going with it. I will also link a fully modular EVGA power supply that you can get for $20 more than the Corsair one here that we're using. Both are going to be competent. One's going to be semi-modular, allow for good cable management, and the EVGA one, which is fully modular, will allow for great cable management. But to get this build at $998, guys, at the time I'm posting this, I had to go with a semi-modular power supply, and that's how much this build cost, $998. So right there on the threshold, and that is after any mail-in rebates. So you are skimming by here, but the thing is, if you want a PC for $1,000 in 2018, this is a baller build that will last you for a very, very long time. It's based on Intel and Nvidia from the get-go, which is awesome. Top of the line stuff there. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content exactly like this every single day of the week. I love building these PCs like this, guys, and you guys have been asking me for an actual how to put together a PC style build. I'm working with a few contacts right now to get that done, but it's in the near future, so be sure to subscribe for that if you haven't already. Turn on post notifications, all of that awesome stuff. I'm Nick. This has been The Breakdown, and I am out, guys. Peace.